Hey folks, David here. I'm going to do a real quick video on an AHM HO locomotive and just show you how to identify it and some of the parts in there and how it's put together. Recently, Ron over there from Classic Model Trains did a video on a repair, and first thing I looked at, I thought, well, that looks like an AHM, and I put a comment in his video and said it looks like an AHM, and he said, well, what's an AHM look like? How would I know? So I'm doing this video partly for him and for anybody else who isn't sure what's inside of an AHM. So yeah, I'm going to show you what it looks like, how to identify it, and some of the parts you need to look at, some of the problems you may or may not have with it. Okay, so the first and most obvious way to identify these is usually on the bottom here. It says AHM and a little triangle, and then it says tempo. I'm not sure what that's for. And it says made in Yugoslavia. So it looks just like this here, in case you can't see that on the camera. So that's what's on the bottom. And then also it has these metal wheel covers or gear covers on the bottom. And there's usually like one sheet metal screw and then one threaded machine screw with a nut on the other side. Some of them have it, some don't. You have to be very careful. You take these screws out, and it's a machine screw, so you don't want to lose the nut that's on the other side. So these are very easy to get to. There's just two tabs on each side, and you simply pull this apart, and then it comes out pretty easily. So here's the motor right here, obviously, and that's what it looks like. And it normally has a worm on the bottom here like that that's pressed on. It's not really easy to get these out, and I'll explain that in a minute. And it usually has a worm gear like this on the bottom that's pressed onto the motor. So the only way to get the motor out of here is to take the cover off the bottom and take that gear off, and then take the motor out. But you usually don't have to do that. Only if there's something really wrong with this motor and you need to replace it. The brushes are right here. There's a brush right here and a brush right here, and you can see the commutators in here. So there's a little wire here, and one side is insulated, so make sure that this insulator is on there so you don't short them out. So you have a brush for one side, a brush for the other, and they have to be insulated. So this little metal clip keeps those brushes in there snug. And then you have the two wires that come from the pickup wheels over here. So one thing that commonly happens on these is this front truck, you just turn it a quarter turn and it comes out, if I'm real careful. Okay, so that's how that comes out. And a lot of times this part here is broken right there, and I was able to 3D print this, and actually this one was broken pretty bad, as you can see right here. That's all broken. So I 3D printed the whole section here and just glued that on, and that works, and that goes in there. So if you get one where that's broken, I made two different parts. One is just the top part there that you can glue on the top of the shaft that goes in there, and there's a hole in the middle to run the wires through there. If you have a situation where the part that comes up from the truck, the shaft is broken also, then I made another part that has, more of it, or has the shaft in there and everything. So that's that. So if you get an AHM and that particular part is broken, just let me know. I can send them to you free of charge. Doesn't take anything to print these. And as a matter of fact, I have a couple extras printed just in case I need them. So that's how the front truck is held on there. And here's the spare parts that I made. So another thing that often happens with these is I find that the part here in the front, the little plastic socket that holds the light bulb in, is usually broken. And then this clip right here slides in, and that's what holds the bulb in. And I don't know what causes it, but a lot of times this whole assembly is broken. Let's see if we can get that out. Yeah, so you have one clip that goes in the bottom like that to touch the bottom of the light bulb, and you push the light bulb in and then slide that in carefully, which I will have to do later. There we go. Okay, so that holds that in. So if this is broken, this is actually a good candidate. These AHMs are a good candidate, or an easy thing to put an LED in, because you have all kind of room in here to put that bridge rectifier. If you haven't seen my video on installing LEDs, go ahead and look at that. But this is, I've done that on a couple of these AHMs because there's tons of room in here to put the bridge rectifier, and it's easy just to solder right into these wires, and that works out pretty good. So I'll show you real quick on the bottom. Standard cleaning, you know, you get one of these, you want to clean the wheels real good, like everything else, because these are, the front truck is what picks up the power. And I'll take this off. There. So you can see right here is where this worm is right there. And so in order to get the motor out, you would have to pry that up, and you have to do that very carefully, or you're going to break something else in here. So if you need to take the motor out, which you really don't normally have to do, that's what you have to do, is get this gear off of here, and then you can get it out and lose the weight. That's fine. So this does have traction tires on one side, and I just noticed that this is missing a traction tire. I'll show you. So that's what the axles look like. And I have been able to find some of these at train shows. But since we're here, I'll get a traction tire and put it on there. I believe these are 9mm by 1.5mm traction tires. There we go. Should be good on that. And I lost the coupler. Here we go. Coupler's still working the way it should. Okay, so that's really all there is to it, and that's how an AHM works, and that's what it looks like inside. And you know, like all others, you want to clean the commutator, clean the brushes, clean the wheels, make sure that these wires have good contact. Here's the wires coming up from the pickup truck. And that's all there is to it. So like I said, I've already repaired this one a while ago, and I just had to put a traction tire on it. So I know that this one does run and is in good shape. Okay, thank you very much for watching.